Wow, I really can't wait for tonight. Even though Armand Sukiarian get dropped. All right, let's go. Let's be studious. Let's be studious right now. My hair's all over the place. And also, this bed is crazy, but fuck it. See you like looking like that. That's fine. Well, welcome back. It's not Friday. It's Saturday. Um, I didn't study yesterday because I just had reasons. But we're here now. We're doing it now. No, again, this is just practice test. Last stream we did this practice exam, and then we actually got 73 as a result. So we got more correct than wrong. Now we're just gonna review the questions again, and then take the next one. And honestly, I think we're just gonna keep taking them this stream. Like we're gonna study this one, take them this stream, and then on my own time, I'm going to review the wrong answers for these. But let's just see this one for now. Uh, shit's too bright. Okay. Ugh, God, dude. Dude, coffee saves me all the time. All right. Which of the following file types are commonly used by network administrators to perform repetitive tasks using a Microsoft proprietary programming language? So we already know this is Python. It's not really Microsoft proprietary. JavaScript, same thing. I'm pretty sure Shell is for Microsoft, but no, clearly VB script is the one thing I didn't hear or ever heard of. VB script. Let's talk about the explanation. VB script is a scripting language based on Microsoft's Visual Basic Programming language. Visual Basic scripting. Network administrators often use VB script to perform repetitive administrative tasks. With VB script, you can run your scripts from either the command line or the Windows graphical interface. Scripts that you write must be run within a host environment. Windows 10 provides Internet Explorer, ISS, IIS, and Windows script hosts for this purpose. A shell script is a file that contains a list of commands to be read and executed by the shell in Linux and Mac OS. Mac OS. Wow. Okay. So this is for Mac and Linux. The shell. The shell script. Excuse me. Every time I drink coffee, I just start burping. A shell file is used for a shell script, and the first line always begins with bin. Oh! Exclamation hash, exclamation point, slash bin, slash bash that designates the interpreter. This line instructs the operating system to execute the scripts. Shell scripts allow you to perform various functions. These functions include automation of commands, tasks of system administration, and troubleshooting, creating simple applications, and manipulating files or text or files. Python is a general purpose programming language that can develop in many different kinds of applications. It is designed to be easy to read, and the program uses fewer lines of code compared to other programming languages. The code runs in an interpreter. Python is pre-installed on many Linux distributions, can be installed on Windows. Python scripts are saved using the py extension. JavaScript is a scripting language that is designed to create an interactive web-based content and web apps. The scripts are executed automatically by placing the script in the HTML code for a web page that the HTML code for the page loads and the script is run. JavaScript is stored in a JavaScript file or as a part of the HTML file. What is HTML? I forget. Hypertext markup language. Hypertext transfer protocol. Yeah, okay. Secure. Great. Alright, so clearly this is Microsoft only. Visual Basic scripting. With VB scripts, you can run your scripts from either the command line or the Windows graphical interface. Scripts that you write must be run within the host environment. Okay. So Python can be also used for Linux and Windows, and it's comparably more shorter in terms of computing language than any other script file. JavaScript, what is JavaScript for? It's for making web apps and web-based content. It's either in the HTML file or its own script. Okay, so this is the bin bash, the hash exclamation point bin bash. Okay. Next question. Alright, I didn't know any of these before. I'm thinking the only real answer is 3-2-1 backup. Clearly it's not. I never heard of Grandfather's Son or Five-Fold Backup or Tower of Hanoi, the building in Vietnam. But this is the explanation. The grandfather father son backup rotation scheme is widely used to combine full and incremental backups to reduce backup time and enhance storage security. The grandfather is a full backup that is stored off site once per month. The father is a weekly backup that is conducted. A weekly full backup that is conducted. The son is an incremental or differential backup conducted each day. For example, each Monday a full backup can be conducted, which becomes the father. Then each day of the week, a son is created by performing an incremental or differential backup. Once per month, a full backup is conducted to become the grandfather. The 3-2-1 backup rule states that an organization should create one primary backup and 2 copies of the data. 2. Save the backups on 2 different types of media, and 1. Keep at least 1 backup copy offsite. I can't believe this Tower of Hanoi shit is real. The Tower of Hanoi is a backup rotation scheme that rotates backup media sets through the backup process to minimize wear and failure of the tape backup media. For example, when using this backup with 4 backup tapes labeled A, B, C, D, a total of 16 days of backup can be maintained with 4 tapes. A is used every odd number for 16 days. B is used on 2, 6, 10, and 14. C is used on days 4 and 12, and tape D is used on days 8 and 16. This allows tape A to be written every other day, while tape B is overwritten every 4 hours, and tape C's and D's are overwritten every 8 days. Okay, we're gonna just shut up. What the fuck? For example, the first in, first out backup scheme uses set number of tapes and overwrite the oldest tape with the newest information. For example, if there's 7 tapes in use, every evening a new backup is conducted over the previous week's daily backup. To have longer amounts of days backup, the technician simply needs to increase the numbers of tapes from 7 to 14 or 21. Okay. Grandfather, son. So a monthly backup, weekly, monthly full backup, a weekly full backup, and then incremental or differential backups. 3, 2, 1. You want to have one backup copy off site. Have 2 backup copies on other media devices, and 3. What was it? One. Oh no. 3 is one primary backup and 2 copies of the data. Okay, and then 2. Save the backups on 2 different types of medias. 1. Keep at least one backup copy off site. This rotation scheme works by exponentially increasing the retention period within the recursive pattern. Uses T3. Okay. This is its own thing, so you want to have one backup and 2 copies of the data. 2, you want to install the backups on different installation medias, and then 1 offsite backup. Grandfather, father, son. It's 1 monthly full backup, weekly full backups, and everyday differential or incremental backups. First in, first out backup is where the newest data is overwritten to the oldest file backup, right? Tower Hanoi is going to be the one I don't know. That rotates backup media sets throughout the backup process to minimize wear failure of the backup media. Like, what the fuck is that? So every other day for media set A, well, like every fucking 5 days for media set B. So it's just I don't know how to explain it with words, but I see what it is, honestly. Next question. Which command line tool is used on a Windows system to erase all of the data on a hard disk to ensure it's ready to accept new Windows files? I put check disk out of the 3. System file checker just shows like what? The bad end markings. The fucking, yeah, repairs corrupted or missing system files. So I knew it's not that. You're not erasing anything. Disk part. It's more just listing disk partitions. Check disk. What is check disk? Is check disk Okay. What is check disk F? You're fixing errors, I guess. On format and TFS. Now, a clue giveaway or a dead giveaway. It's a Windows system. And you're erasing data, so you have to format it, right? You can't just erase data and expect it to format itself. Let's read the explanation. The format command creates a new root directory in the file system for the disk. It can be checked for bad areas on the disk, and it can delete all data on the disk. Format command. To use a new disk, you first use the format command to format the disk. The check disk command is used to check the file system and the file system metadata of metadata of a volume for logical and physical errors. If used without parameters, check disk displays only the status of the volume and doesn't fix any errors. If used with /f/r/x/b parameters, it fixes errors on the volume. The diskpart command is a command line disk partition utility available for Windows that is used to view, create, modify a computer's disk partition. The system file checker command is a utility in Windows that allows users to scan and restore corrupted Windows system files from the command line. System file checker. Okay, what? You restore or repair any missing system files. Format. Okay, the format command creates a new root directory in system file system. This part, you can edit disk partitions, you can modify it. Check disk is what? What is check disk again? Check. Okay, check disk command is used to check the file system and file system metadata of a volume for logical and physical errors. It checks the file system and file system metadata to check for logical and physical errors. Okay. This part you're just listening, or if you want to change or edit or delete the partitions on your disk, do this one. Format, you're formatting a new partition on the disk drive. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You are configuring a Soho network and only allowing specific IP addresses to access the network while blocking any IP addresses that are not on the list. Which of the following should be implemented? I already thought it was MAC filtering, but and only allowing specific IP address to access them while blocking any IP that are not on the list. I thought it was MAC filtering because you could just type what devices you want on the Soho network, buy their MAC address, make it reserved for them. This also makes sense. I really never read about block lists or allow lists yet. But an allow list is a form of protection where only items identified specifically on the list are allowed, whereas all others are denied. For example, if you create an access control list that relies on a window list, it will block every IP address that is not found on the allow list. Excuse me. A block list contains every address or port that is blocked from accessing the network. MAC filtering is the application of an access control list to a switch or access point so only clients with approved MAC addresses can connect. Port forwarding allows a router to take requests from the internet for a particular application and send them to a designated host on the LAN. Okay. MAC address is the application of a access control list to a switch or access point that is that while blocking. Okay. So only identified items on the list is allowed. Blocks any port or IP address that it's not listed. Okay, yeah. MAC filtering is what? MAC filtering is the application of an access control list to a switch or access point that. Oh, God. Jesus. That's in domain 2 security. Yeah, it's just a scenario, really. Um, but okay, I guess the dead giveaway really is IP address. MAC address is just the device itself. It's not really the IP address that it gives. It's two different things. So I get it now. This is for IP addresses and ports. And then port forwarding is allows a router to take requests for the internet for a particular application sent to the designated host. Okay. This one I should have got right. I didn't really read it. Um it's secure shell, not file transfer protocol, because it has to be securely. It's not that. This is just sending messages out. Really not uploading files to a remote server. 161 is what? UDP? I'm not too sure, but it is secure shell. Or secure file transfer. I forget it's the same thing. It means the same fucking thing. Wow. Okay, so that's just regular file transfer protocol, and this is secure file transfer protocol. The same thing uses. It uses secure shell also. There's a couple hints that in the statement it gives, like remote server and then securely, but also just literally upload files. I was really overthinking it because what is. I know port 25 is the simple message transfer protocol. Simple mail transfer protocol. So really it's for mail. To securely upload a file, the employees could use secure file transfer protocol or secure copy. Both SFTP and SCP will operate over port 22. Therefore, port 22 must be opened by the firewall so that the employees can reach the file servers. Port 21 is used by the file transfer protocol, but is not a secure method for sending files. Yep. There are more secure versions of file FTP, known as FTPS, that uses port 990. Port 25 is reserved for the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, which is an internet standard communication for electronic mail transmission. Oh, I'm an idiot. Ports 161 is reserved for Simple Network Management Protocol, which is a networking protocol used for management and monitoring of network-connected devices and internet protocol networks. So this is Simple Network Management Protocol. So Simple Network Management Protocol, Simple Mail Transfer. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Secure Shell, Secure File Transfer Protocol, or SCP, Secure Copy. They're all on port 22. So there's three things that's on port 22. Secure Shell, if you want to log in remotely to another user's desktop or command line unit securely or encrypted. Secure File Transfer Protocol. Well, like this example is, file transferring just secure. And secure copy when you want to copy files securely. That domain is operational procedures. Next question: you are partitioning a 1 terabyte hard drive on your new workstation. The hard disk has been partitioned into 4 different partitions with 100, 150, 250, and 500 gigabytes. How many file system types could you support with 1 terabyte hard drive? This is like, wow, this is me overthinking it. This is me trying to like read in between the lines. Because you know why? I was thinking of all the file systems with their limitations, what they do. I thought it was a trick question also because, I mean, they're just file systems. They're not OSs, so it's easy to get that mixed up. I only put 2 because I'm thinking Fat32 couldn't do it. Who's using her higher HFS? Who's using APS? So I was doing process elimination between the system files, or the file systems. I mean, XFAT is only really one, and NTFS is another one, just because it needs, you could just do more than 1 terabyte on them. Can't say the same for Fat32. Sorry. But yeah, partition is the act of dividing a physical disk into logically separate storage areas, often referred as drives. Each partition can be formatted with any file system type. Since there are 4 distinct partitions on the singular hard drive, it can support up to 4 different file systems. So yeah, as long as you depends on how much partitions, you have on a disk. Could be 2. You could put 2 different ones. If it's 2, if it's 3, you could have 3 different ones, and if it's 4, you can have 4 different file systems. It's in domain 1, operating systems. Which of the following should you use to remove usernames and passwords you no longer wish to store on Windows 10? Now, I know it's not device manager or keychain. Keychain's for really Mac. It's for Mac OS. I was saying internet options because I thought about if there was a place. I have to check internet options, actually. But I was thinking if there was a place to delete not files, but passwords and usernames, it would be that. Because this is all like for the internet. Or the browser. Yeah. Content. Certificates. Token signing plea. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but I thought it was that security. Appropriate from the website. Prompts for downloads of content. Unsigned active as control will not be downloaded. That's what I'm saying. I thought it was here. Temporary files, history, cookies, and saved passwords, or any web form information. But no, it's credential manager. I don't know where credential manager is. Credential manager. Web credentials? Okay, I see it now. Yeah, this is all like old shit. Like, I'm trying to figure out. Device keys from 2021. Okay, but now you know. Do you know your password? Usernames, go to Credential Manager. Credential Manager lets you view and delete your saved credentials for signing into websites, connect applications, and networks. To open Credential Manager, type Credential Manager in the search box on the taskbar and select Credential Manager control panel. You can remove any credentials you no longer want to store. Remove a credential may also resolve an authentication or service problem. You can view the plain text of a web credential but not of a Windows credential. The Internet Options sections in the control panel allows a technician to manage the Internet settings for their computers, including security settings, access settings, and add-on control settings. Using Internet Options, a technician can set the home page of a browser, set the proxy server connection details, change the trust and security settings used by the system. The device manager is used to view and control hardware attached to the computer. Self-explanatory. The device manager will highlight a piece of hardware that is not working so a technician can repair or replace it. Keychain is a Mac OS app for managing passwords cached by the OS and supported browser/web applications. Okay. So if you want to remove any credentials from websites or just Windows in general, this is its own thing. Internet options, yeah, it's literally for the internet settings, security settings, access settings, set up proxy servers. What else? Yeah, and then just trust it. Oh, yes. You gotta specifically like look into it, but that's a good one. And it's just the wording also. Domain 1 operating systems. Which of the following type of backups generates the recovered files from a complete copy of a file created at some point in time, and one or more partial backups created at later times to merge them into recovered data? Now, I thought it was incremental because types backup generates the recovered files from complete file created at some point in time, and one or more partial backups created at later times. Yeah, because this really like threw me off because I put one or more partial backups created at later times to merge them into recovered data. Let me go pee real quick. I gotta pee, man. I was pissing and pondering. I'm like, why is it a synthetic backup? Because a synthetic backup is the process of generating a file from a complete copy of a file at some past time, and one or more incremental copies are created at later times. The expression synthetic in this context refers to the fact that a disassembled file is not a direct copy of any single current or previous created file. Okay, I get it now. I get it. It's synthetic because it's not a real fucking backup. You're using a full copy backup, but also an incremental. You're merging them into recovered data. It's artificial. Synthetic. Ah. Instead, a synthetic file is merged or synthesized by a specialized application program from the original file or one or more modifications to it. A full backup creates a copy of the selected data regardless when it was previously backup. It takes the most time to complete the backup, but is fastest when conducting restore of all the data on a hard drive. A differential backup only creates a copy of the selected data that has been modified since the last full backup. It's a good compromise in speed between a full backup, which takes the longest to backup and the least to restore, and an incremental backup, which takes the least to backup but the longest to restore. Full backup, which takes the longest to backup and the least to restore. Is it differential or no? An incremental, which is the fastest to backup but the longest to restore. A incremental backup only creates a copy of the new files and the files modified since the last full incremental or differential backup. Therefore, it takes the least amount of time to complete a backup. Unfortunately, it takes the most time. It also takes the most time to restore since you have to first restore the full backup, then any different and incremental backups until all your data is restored. Okay, yeah, so incremental backups creates backups on everything, right? Basically any little detail you do on either three of these, differential, synthetic, or full. So shortest to backup, longest to restore, full backup, longest to backup, quickest to restore, differential only recovers yeah. Okay. Lil Schmeat, aka Ivan, is texting me right now on Discord. It's my fault. Listen, we got a lot of good bangers coming out. I'm excited. I have a video coming up next week. We're gonna take apart a laptop and try to put it back together. And also, we're doing this podcast reaction thing with Lil Schmeat, a deep, deep, deep beloved person of mine. The cut is gonna be sick, man. We're gonna rebrand it all. Alright, that's besides the point. Differential, what does differential do? Only creates a copy of the selected data that has been modified since the last full backup. Only creates a copy of the modified data created since the last full backup. Synthetic backup is where you copy the last full backup, but also copy any incremental or differential backups and create them into a new type of data. Full backup is, a full backup. Self-explanatory. Incremental is any minor change since the last full incremental or differential backup. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's easy. We're understanding a little more. But next question. A coworker is creating a file containing a script. You look over the shoulder and see bin/bash as the first line of the file. Based on this, what type of file extension should the script use? Now we know. It's not batch. It's not VBS. It's not Visual Basic scripting. It's not Python. When you see hash bin/bash, it's gonna be shell. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now I literally just forgot what batch does. Batch script. I think it just like. I mean, these are all scripts, right? They're just like all a list of commands. But yeah, this is the right answer because this is the only fucking script that's gonna start as that. Yeah, let's just read this. I'll be home around 12:50. That's amazing. Hold on, let's see. I'm trolling Ivy right now. Alright. A shell script is a file that contains a list of commands to be read and executed by the shell in Linux and Mac OS. A shell file is used for a shell script and it is the first line and its first line always begins with hash exclamation point bin slash bash that designates the interpreter. This line instructs the operating system to execute the script. Fuck! I can't type. Oh my god. God, a lot of good things is coming. Good things are coming to us. Shell scripts allow you to perform various functions. These functions include automation of commands and tasks of a system administration and troubleshooting, creating simple applications, and manipulating text or files. Python is a general-purpose programming language that can develop many different kinds of applications. It is designed to be easy to read, and the programs use fewer lines of code compared to other programming languages. The code runs an interpreter. Python is pre-installed on many Linux and can be installed on Windows. Python scripts are used using the .py extension. VBS is a scripting language based on Microsoft Visual Basic Programming Language. Network administrators often use VBScript to perform repetitive administrative. You already read this. Repetitive administrative tasks. With VBScript, you can run scripts either from the command line or the Windows graphical interface. Scripts that you write must be run within a host environment. Windows 10 provide Internet Explorer IIS and Windows Script Host for this purpose. Bash scripts run on the Windows operating system and in their simplest form contains a list of several commands that are executed in a sequence. A bat file is used for a batch script. You can run the file by calling its name from the command line or double-clicking the file in File Explorer. Generally, the batch script runs from end to end and is limited in branching and user input. So this is just what's batch script? Batch script meaning in a serial order. Okay. So batch script is script commands run in serial order. Visual Basic script is for Microsoft proprietary. Propriety. Oh my god, that fucking word. I'm just tripping on my words. But VBScript, you can run the scripts from either the command line or the Windows graphical interface. Scripts that you write must be run within the host environment. Oh my god, excuse me. Excuse me. Structs the OS. Okay. They're all programming languages. Visual Basic is used for what? Setting fucking commands in a specific order to perform repetitive administrative tasks. BAT is just having this a serial order. Stores commands to be executed in a serial order. It's very simple, bare minimum, usable by Windows only. Visual Basic is used for repeating administrative tasks. Shell, it's also used for a lot of things. It has the hash exclamation point bin slash bash. Can be used for file manipulation, application development, automation of commands. Okay, I think you're just relearning the differences. Really, this one I didn't know any. I literally forget. I think it did mention it a long time ago. I genuinely didn't remember. Like this is one of those questions. I was like, what the hell? Which of the following types of wireless encryption uses a 40-bit encryption key with RC4 encryption cipher? Open doesn't use any encryption. WPA. Is it encryption? I don't know. Let's see. The wire equivalent privacy encryption system is based on the RC4 encryption cipher. WEP. WEP uses 40-bit encryption key and it has a 24-bit initialization vector by default, creating a 64-bit key. Newer versions of WEP support a 128-bit key size. A larger encryption key creates stronger encryption and is more difficult to attack. WEP is considered weak by today's standards, should be replaced by WPA2 or strong encryption schemes. Wi-Fi protected access. Wi-Fi protected access is an improved encryption scheme for protecting Wi-Fi communications designed to replace WEP. WPA uses the RC4 cipher and a temporal key integrity protocol to overcome the vulnerabilities in the older WEP protection scheme. Wi-Fi protected access version 2 is replaced by the original version of WPA after the completion of 802.11i security standard. WPA2 features an improved method of key distribution and authentic for enterprise networks. The other pre-shared key method is still available for home and small office networks. WPA2 uses the improved AES cipher with counter mode with cipher blocking chain messages authentication protocol, CCMP, for encryption. An open network doesn't use any encryption key or pre-shared key to protect the network. But now you know. So this uses a 40-bit encryption key and then the 24 initialization. What was it? Vector by default, creating a 64-bit key. Now the higher the bits is the higher the security. WPA doesn't what uses TKIP. Yeah. So they all use RC4. But now you know this is specifically for WEP. It's a 40-bit encryption key. The RC4 encryption cipher. They all use RC4. It seems like. Domain 2 security. You are renting space in another company's data center. To protect your server from being physically accessed when you're not in the building with devices you use. I thought it was a smart card. From physically accessed when you're not in the building with devices you use. But it's a server lock. I don't even know if server lock was a real thing. I remember I tried to use, not a laptop lock, but...
Guess what? You quit your job and...
Oh, man. Why did I pick smart card? Because I'm thinking like, okay, if I have my badge at home that has my credentials, no one's gonna be able to use it. But it makes sense. Listen, people be using flipper zeros to like fuck up the radio frequency on those type of things. Um, I understand it, so I get it. To protect your server from being physically accessed when you're not in the building, what device you use? USB lock. I guess these are all entry control roster. These are all things that people could just hijack and use for themselves. But a server lock, I don't think so. Let's see. A server lock is a physical locking mechanism installed on the server cabinet to prevent unauthorized from accessing the servers. The server lock can be a cipher lock, a biometric lock, or a simple key lock, depending on the level of security needed. A USB lock prevents unauthorized data transfers through USB ports, reducing the risk of data leakage, data theft, and computer viruses or malware by physically locking and blocking the USB ports. A smart card, chip card, PIV card, or integrated circuit card is a physical electronic authorization device used to control access to a resource. It's a typically plastic credit card sized card with an embedded integrated circuit chip. In high security environments, employee badges may contain a smart card embedded chip that must be inserted into the smart card reader to log in or access information on the system. A entry control roster is administrative control used to log each person who enters and leaves a secure room. That is interesting. Very, very good. Very, very interesting. Okay, so that makes sense. USB lock is preventing stuff entering from the USB ports. Server lock is, a lock mechanism for the server cabinets itself. Entry control roster lists all, or just logs all the people coming in and out of the room. Smart card is used for using a smart card. Blah blah blah. Authorization. It's an authorization device to access a secure location. Server lock. Key giveaway. Being physically accessed. USB lock. It's just a locking mechanism, but nothing to do with USBs. This is just, logging. So it would have came down to these two. But that's like that's because I didn't know the definition of this. I didn't know it was a real thing or not. So I just used my primitive brain and just used this one. But it makes sense now. It does. Windows file servers commonly hold sensitive files, database, passwords, and more. What common vulnerability is used against a Windows file server to expose sensitive files, database, and passwords? Oh my god. First of all, I really didn't know which one it could be, but this makes sense now. This makes sense now, like reading it this morning. But when I was taking the test, I was not. So it's really just paying attention. Really just paying attention and also just guessing. Just guess better. Like SQL injection, CRFL injection. I don't even know what those are. Cross-site scripting. I never heard of that. Missing patches was the easiest one to pick. Missing patches are the most common vulnerability found on both Windows and Linux systems. When a security patch is released, attackers begin to reverse engineer the security patch to exploit the vulnerability. If your servers are not patched against the vulnerability, they can become victims of the exploit. The server's data can be compromised. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh my lord. Cross-site scripting, XSS. Attacks are a type of injection which malicious scripts are injected in otherwise benign and trusted websites. Cross-site scripting focuses on exploiting a user's workstation, not the server. CRLF injection is a software application coding vulnerability that attacks that occurs when an attacker injects a CRFR character sequence when it's not expected. SQL injection is the placement of malicious code in SQL statements via a web page front. SQL is commonly used against databases, but they're not useful when attacking file servers. Okay. So this is for applications. This is for the web. Yeah. Cross-site scripting is for websites. Okay, so this is for web-based. This is for application-based. This is oh my god, I can't think. Cross server. What is the cross server? Oh, it's for websites. It's for websites. And it's for the workstation. But missing patches would do that. First engineers, key patches. Okay. Alright. So this is for websites. Malware scripts are injected into websites that are used. SQL injections based is injecting the SQL line code when it's least expected into web pages. CRLF is the same thing. Unexpected code in an application. The missing patch is just missing patching updates. People can reverse engineer and exploit that vulnerability. Okay. Number 2, security. Question 56. Elizabeth was replacing a client security device that protects the screen subnet. The client has an application that allows external users to access the application remotely. After replacing the device, the external users cannot connect remotely to the application anymore. Which of the following devices was most likely misconfigured and is now causing a problem? I thought it was a DHCP because I thought the issue was DHCP, dynamic host control protocol. Just because she was replacing the devices, I was thinking that like, what if they had like a reserve pool of like addresses to give for those specific MAC addresses? But no. Content filter, DNS, those firewall. It's a firewall issue. Excuse me. It's a firewall issue. Why? A firewall is an integral part of creating a screen subnet. If configured correctly, it can regulate exactly what type. This is making me burp a lot. Okay. Okay. This is different because a content filter. No. It can regulate exactly what traffic and users are allowed to access the server. This is different from a content filter because a content filter denies traffic to a user based on content but not access to a server. If the firewall rule set was not configured to allow external users to access the application remotely, the default connection is to deny by default. Content filtering is the use of a program to screen or exclude access to web pages or emails deemed objectionable. The dynamic host configuration protocol. Dynamic host configuration protocol uses port 67 and is a network management protocol used on Internet Protocol IP networks for automatically assigning IP addresses and other communication parameters to devices connected to the network using client-server architecture. So I guess the issue wasn't really finding. Yeah, well, fuck. The issue wasn't obtaining IP addresses. It's a firewall issue. But this is a good statement right here. The firewall rule set was not configured to allow external users to access the application remotely. The default condition is to deny to by default. So you have to configure that. You have to configure the remote access through the firewall. Content filter. What is content filter? Content filter denies traffic to user based on content but not access to the server. Content filtering is the use of a program to screen and exclude access to web pages or emails deemed objectionable. So web pages or emails deemed objectionable for the workstation, not for the server. Okay, so it's really just that protects the screen subnet. That's a dead giveaway. Just this like effect after like doing it, it's gonna be leading you to the firewall answer. Okay. Next question. A user computer is experiencing repeated blue screens of deaths and calls the service desk. The call is routed to Tier 2 support, and the Tier 2 technician is scheduled for a breakup in about 2 minutes. When the call comes in, which of the following actions should the technician do? This one I didn't really know. I thought you just serve the customer, no matter what. Ask another Tier 2 technician to answer the call since it will take too long to solve. Answer the phone politely. Ask the user to call back later. You never want to do that. Answer the phone. Put the user on hold and help them after their scheduled break. No. What the hell is the point? You can't play with people's time. And that goes for, I guess, the employees also. Troubleshoot the issue for the user regardless of how long it takes. Since the Tier 2 technician already knows that this will take some time to resolve, it will be best to ask another technician to help the user since they are scheduled for their break. It would be improper to either ask the user to call back later or put them on a long hold. While the technician may opt out to troubleshoot the user's issues right now, depending on the organization's break structure, that may not be possible. Often, a large organization breaks times are scheduled, and if the technician postpones their breaks, it could have cascading effect across numerous technician schedules. Oh, okay. Therefore, the best choice is to have another technician take the call while avoiding issues for the customers and the rest technicians' break schedules. That is great. That is great. That's great to know. So, you don't want to end up messing up your coworkers' break times. So just ask another Tier 2 technician. Okay. That's great. Really great, really great. Which of the following should be used to uniquely identify a piece of hardware installed on a corporate network, including servers, desktops, laptops, printers, and monitors? I really thought it was MAC address, because isn't that the hardware ID? Isn't that on it? It's a hexadecimal 12-digit fucking thing. My goodness. Which of the following should be used to uniquely identify every piece of hardware installed? Why is it ACID ID? I already knew it's not IP, because we're talking about the hardware, not really the internet side at all. Location, what does the location fucking do for you? Doesn't really identify every piece of hardware. MAC address, I thought it does, but ACID ID. What is ACID ID? The ACID ID should be used to uniquely identify each piece of hardware tracked into asset management database. An asset management database can be configured to store as much or as little information as is deemed necessary. The typical data would be type, model, serial number, asset ID, location, value, and service information. Tangible assets can be identified using an identification number, barcode labeled, or radiant frequency ID tag attached to the device. An RFID tag is a chip program with asset data. When in range of the scanner, the chip powers up and signals the scanner. The scanner alerts management software to update the device location, as well as asset tracking. This allows the management software to track the device locations, making theft more difficult. An IP address is a logical identifier, but is frequently changed when using a network with dynamic hosts. Configuration protocol can be used to reliably identify a piece of hardware. The location of the device is not a unique way of identifying an asset, since many pieces of hardware may be located in the space location. Additionally, virtual machines cannot easily be tracked using their physical locations. The MAC address is used to identify every device on the local area network uniquely if an asset ID is not available. But it would not be useful when trying to identify monitors since they do not use a MAC address. Okay. Kyle. So that was the dead giveaway. When you think of devices, you think of like stuff that could like, I mean everything's a computer, but actual computing be this bad boy right here. Yeah, so this is for the network side. This is just physical location, MAC address. Okay. I guess the giveaway was the monitors. But SID is the way to identify each piece of hardware. Okay. Okay, I get it. On the local area network. So this is internet side, really. It's not the physical asset itself. What was it? 62. Let's just do the wrong answers up. Whaling is an email-based or web-based form of phishing that targets senior executives or wealthy individuals. Spear phishing is the fraudulent practice of sending emails from a seemingly known trusted sender to induce targeted individuals to reveal confidential information. A spear phishing attack is focused on a target set of people, not just to discriminate a large group of random people. Phishing is an email-based social engineering attack, which the attacker sends the email from supposedly reputable source such as the bank to try to elicit private information from the victim. Phishing is a social engineering attack where the vicious extracts information while speaking over the phone or leveraging IP-based voice messaging services. So whaling is for targeting wealthy individuals or CEOs, CFOs. Phishing is social engineering over voice, over IP, using your voice on the phone. Phishing is just through emails, faking that they're from trustable and reputable sources. Spear phishing is what? Okay. So yeah, spear phishing is you target people, but it's just still emails. and they're just pretending to be real people. Okay. So when you read stuff like this, the key giveaway is specifically targets. So whaling, spearfishing. It was either one of the two, really. But now you know it's whaling. If it's asking for, fraudulent emails, then it would be that. But since this is just like a specific definition on its own, it has to be whaling, where they're just the targets. There's no emails or faking or doing fraud with another company. That's that. Okay. I'm sorry. Brain is really mush right now. What command line tool is used on the Windows system to move upward and directly within the system's directory structure? Which command line is used on the Windows system to move upward directory within the system directory structure? I thought it was dir, but that's just, I guess it just shows it doesn't like move it up. I think with these like dots over here is how much you move up or down. LS, that's just for Linux, so it's irrelevant. But yeah, I didn't think of these two. Does it change? Oh, that was check directory. But the CD command is used to, hold on, let's fucking search up the commands. Where is it, dir? Displays the name. Oh, changes the file directory. No, displays the names of or changes of the current directory. So it's the same thing as this. It's used to change directory if used with CD dot option. It will move up one directory in the file system's directory structure. If it's used with the CD one dot option, it will remain in the current directory. The change directory command can be used to move directly to another directory or path if entered as CD some other directory path into the command line. The dir command is used to list the directory files and subdirectories. The ls command is used on the Linux system to list the directory files and subdirectories. The ls command only works on a Windows system when you're using PowerShell, not the command line. That is interesting. So CD with one dot is the current directory, whatever you're looking in. If you want to move into the file, like upward, you want to use two dots. CD meaning change directory. Dir just lists the directory and all the subdirectories. Okay. A home user brought their Windows 10 laptop to the electronics store where you work because they suspect it has a malware infection. You are in the process of remediating the affected system. Which of the following actions should you be performing? Now, this one kind of tricked me up because I'm thinking, 7 steps of malware removal. What really threw me off is this one. You are in the process of remediating the affected system. So, I'm thinking, okay, isn't that like the 4th or 5th step? Because you're trying to review the type, symptoms, and purpose to remove the malware, downloading anti-malware apps, doing scans and stuff like that at this point of the statement. But no, it's not that clearly. You want to remove, quarantine, and erase the infected files. Blah blah blah. So basically, these all mean, except for this one, these are all basically the same thing. Uh, Disable the laptop's wired and wireless network cards. It's basically quarantining it regardless. You want to quarantine the device from the internet so it doesn't affect the internet. Um, so these are literally the two of the same fucking answers. Redo types, system purpose, and removal of the malware. I don't know. I think this answer is just a bigger scope of like the process itself, which is kind of irrelevant. They want you to be specific. Enable system restore and perform backup is one of the last things you do. But definitely the way it's worded does want to trick you. But let's just read the explanation itself. Like, yeah, based on the question, you are now in step 4 of the malware removal process. Remediate the infected system. If a file is infected with a virus, you can hopefully use the antivirus software to try to remove the infection. Cleaning. Quarantine the file. The antivirus software blocks any attempt to open it or erase the file. You might also choose to ignore a reported threat if it if it is a false I'm a fucking idiot. False positive. You can also configure the action that software should attempt when it discovers the malware as a part of a scan. Reviewing the information concerning the malware is step 1 of the process. Okay. Disabling the laptop's network cards is step 2 of the process. Enabling system restore is the 6th of the process. 6 of the process is step 6 of the process. Okay. Now, let's just search up the 7 steps of malware removal. 7 steps of malware removal. Identify and research malware symptoms. So basically, what I was putting here really didn't mean anything. Quarantine infected symptoms. Disable system restore. Remediate infected systems. Update anti-malware and scan and remove the malware. Schedule scans and run updates. Turn on system restore and create a restore point and educate the users. Yeah, that this one was pretty weird. It was a weird one. Cause yeah, even the fucking explanation says you're on step 4. What is step 4? I don't know. The way they worded it is kind of weird. Remove quarantine and erase the infected files. You might also choose to ignore a reported threat if it is a false positive. Reviewing information. Yeah, I get that. Okay. So this is like step 1 and then step 4 into one answer. God, yeah, that threw me the fuck off. But I get it. I get it though. Alright, next one. Again, I really don't know like what it meant by on path of attack. I haven't learned anything of spoofing and denial of service yet. Brute force, you heard of. I just assumed because that's the only thing I knew, and I knew it wasn't tailgating because that's a physical thing. Like going to a door, like 2 people at once. But spoofing is often used to inject the attacker into the conversation path between the 2 parties. So they have like their own proxy. Spoofing is the act of disguising a communication from an unknown source as being from a known trusted source. An on-path attack is an attack where the attacker secretly relays and possibly alters the communication between the 2 parties who believe they are directly communicating with each other. The attacker makes the independent connections with the victims and relay messages between them to make them believe they are talking directly to each other over a private connection. The attacker will intercept all relevant messages passing between the 2 victims and inject new ones. A distributed denial service attack is an attempt to make an online service unavailable by overwhelming it with traffic from multiple sources. Thank you. That's all I needed to learn from that. So, DDoS, overwhelming the user's network. I didn't know that. I didn't know that for a while. Tailgating is a social engineering technique to gain access to a building by following someone unaware of their presence. Brute force attack consists of an attacker submitting many passwords or paraphrases in the hope of eventually guessing correctly. Spoofing. Yeah. Inject the attacker into the conversation path between two parties. Blah, blah, blah. On path. So this is definitely something you want to know for sure. Spoofing is pretty easy to remember. But on path attack, this is very good to know. It's an attack where the attacker secretly relays impossible, alters the communications, and believe are directly communicating with each other. Okay. Okay. I get it. Spoofing on path. I can remember that. It's pretty easy. Tailgating, like I said, it's a physical thing. Brute force, you're just trying millions of passwords. Dedicated denial service, overwhelming the network. And now that I know about on path, basically injecting yourself between conversation and manipulating it. It's also used as spoofing, which means the same fucking thing. Okay, next question. Question 81. You are a member of a project team contracted to install 20 new wireless access points. Hold on. Let's get this over here. Okay. I'm sorry. I just had to check something there. You're a member of a project team contract to install 20 new wireless access points from a college campus. Your team has already determined the locations for the new WAP and notate them in the physical and logical network diagrams. Your team is still finalizing the change request documents for the installation. The project cannot move forward with the installation until the change request is finalized and approved. Which of the following is the most important thing to add to the scope of work and change request before its approval? Now again, I don't know anything about where is that? The change request steps. So I really didn't know. Maybe end user acceptance I know about, rollback plan. I thought it was risk analysis just to see if it didn't work, but or plan for change, but we'll see. We'll see what's the difference really. Let's see. This is a difficult question because all these items should be included with the request for change, but the most important one is a proper backup plan. A rollback plan is an IT governance integration approach that specifies the processes required to restore a system to its original or earlier state in the event of a failed or abortion implementation. Every change should be accompanied by a rollback plan so that the change can be reversed if it has any harmful or unforeseen consequences. Changes should also be scheduled sensitively if they are likely to cause system downtime or negative impacts of the workflow of the business units that depend on the IT systems being modified. Most organizations have a scheduled maintenance window period for any authorized downtime. By following this guidance, the team can back out and restore service on the legacy and previous system if something goes wrong with the installation. End user acceptance is the process of verifying a change was successfully implemented and turned over to the end user for future operation. A plan for changes document method for installing and modifying the asset documented in the change request. While this is important, the most important thing is still backup plans, since many of the changes are routine changes that do not require a detailed plan of change. A risk analysis determines the severity level of a change and is used to help the change approval board to make an informed approval decision. Okay. What is the most important thing to add to the scope to work and change request before its approval? A rollback plan. So if anything happens to whatever application or update you're gonna do, You want to have something you can you want to have a restore point from when you before you last fucked it up. Before you fuck it up, you want to have that restore point. Plan for change is actually changing the device itself or whatever you're going to work on. Risk analysis, really, let's see. Okay. Risk analysis is more just like, hey, if we do change this, can it possibly negatively affect whatever system we're changing? And user acceptance, you know, the update's already rolled out, and then you're seeing, you're verifying if it's okay for the end user to use. Okay. A couple more questions. Which Linux command is used to print the full contents of a file on the screen at once? Where's cat? The fuck does cat do? I don't think I see a cat on this fucking. We'll see. Which Linux command is used to print? By the way, whoever's watching, thank you for joining in. I'm just reviewing, engaging out how much I know, taking these practice tests, and seeing which or how much I get wrong, and then I'm reviewing what I get wrong. Most of the times, it's things that I don't know off the top of my head, but there's some questions that I should know that I'm getting wrong. So all we're doing is just reviewing. Then we're gonna take a practice test 3, maybe 4, depending how long or my attention span is. But which Linux command is used to print the full contents of a file at the screen at once? Nah, I really didn't know. Now thinking about it, it couldn't be this one because this just lists the directories in Linux. Grep is just a command to see repeating patterns. Dig, I'm not too sure what dig is, but I didn't know what cat was either. But yeah, let's just see. The cat, short for concatenate. What I don't know what the fuck. Alright, the cat command is one of the most frequently used commands in Linux/Unix. The cat command allows the creation of single or multiple files, view file contents. I'm not gonna say that word, files, and redirect the output in the terminal into a file. Okay. The grep command is a command line utility for searching plain text data sets for lines that match a regular expression. The grep command works on Unix, Mac OS operating systems. Grep is an acronym for Global Regular Expression Print. The dig command is used to query the domain name system to obtain information about the host address, mail exchanges, and name servers. Okay. And related information. The ls command is to list the files or directories in the current path of a Unix, Linux, or Mac operating system. When invoked without any arguments, ls lists the files in the current working directory. Okay. So grep is used for searching plain text data sets for lines that match regular expressions. Searching plain data text for lines that match regular expression. Okay. Dig is just listing the DNS information, the host address, mail exchanges, name servers. And cat allows the creation of single multiple files, view file contents. So if you want to view file contents, just press cat. Okay. Contents of file to the screen at once. Cat. Dig is just for DNS information. Grep is just plain text. Searching for patterns in plain text data sets. Okay. Let's see if we know grep command. Yeah, manipulating text patterns within files. Okay. Next question. A user contacts the service desk saying their account is locked out and they're unable to log into their local workstation. Which of the following log files should you review to determine the source of the lockout of the local workstation? Saying their account is locked out, they're unable to log into their local workstation. Which of the following log file? Yeah, I didn't even know there's more than one type of log, honestly. I'm picking system log, thinking it's the only one. But I don't even know if application log is a real thing or setup. I don't know what the fuck is setup. Log into which of those return the source of the lockout of the local workstation. The event viewer shows a log of application and system messages, including errors, information messages, and warnings. It is a useful tool for troubleshooting for all kinds of data. All kinds of different Windows problems. The security log contains information regarding audit data and security on the system. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. The system log contains information regarding audit data and security on a system. For example, the system security log contains a list of every successful and failed login attempt. The file security event viewer text, I'm assuming that's what it is stored in system root system32 Windows event /logs folder and can be opened using the event viewer. The application log contains information regarding application errors. The file application event viewer text is stored in the system's root 32. Okay, and can be used. Open event viewer. The setup log contains record events generated during the Windows installation or upgrade processes. Okay. The system log contains information about service load failures, hardware conflicts, and driver load failures, and more. The file is stored in blah blah event viewer. Okay. So let me get this straight. All right. Let me get this straight. It's for audits. Security on the system. Audits. Okay, so auditing. Really? Shows any errors on like drivers, hardware, anything like that. Applications for applications. Setup is just for in-place upgrades when you upgrade the OS. Yep, okay. Okay, it's starting to make sense though. And this is the last one to review. Question 62. Peter is attempting to print to his office printer, but nothing comes out. Yesterday, his printer was just working fine. Peter does not notice any errors on the taskbar printer icon. Which of the following actions should Peter try first to resolve the issue? Cancel all documents first. Remember, they're saying first, right? So you don't want to cancel all documents and print them again. You don't want to check if it's a default printer. If I was checking, if I had to choose an action, I just want to check if the printer's not offline. But I guess it would say that if it is or not, or it wouldn't even show up. You want to check the status of the print server queue. How much printers are being in use. When the issue occurs, it is often because the system properly sent the print job to the print queue, but the print queue has become stuck. If there is no error shown on the taskbar printer icon, the error should be able to open the print queue to determine the print job has become stuck. If it is, then the print queue can be emptied or reset. So really, doesn't notice any errors. So today's printer was just working fine. I don't know. This is just a gray area right here. Cause you would want to check if it's the default printer and if it's not offline, right? Should be the first things you do. but the printer was just working fine. But I guess the key giveaway was like no error, so it wouldn't show. It wouldn't be an issue. Maybe it wouldn't be on the fucking taskbar icon if it wasn't the default printer. Checking the printer offline, it'll probably tell you if it's online, I guess. So then check the status of the print server queue. Yeah. Okay. Those are all the questions for that one. Okay. Okay. We're gonna take a break. I will be back. I'm going to decompress. Okay, just fucking lay in bed for a bit. We're gonna keep the stream on. Ugh. We're gonna put this on just to. That's crazy. We're just gonna put this on in the meantime. Not 101, bro. 102. 1102, I mean, I'm sorry. I might have to look into that one, but that's besides the point. We're just gonna stream this for a bit. We're gonna come back like in 12.
The ping command is a network utility used to test the reachability of a host on an IP network. Ping can also measure the round-trip time for messages sent between two devices. It's one of the most fundamental tools for network diagnostics. Imagine you're trying to contact a friend to see if they're home. You send a message and wait for a response. If they reply, you know they're there and how long it took for them to respond.
Okay.
Similarly,
I'll be back, y'all. I'll turn the camera back on.
This process helps determine if the destination host is reachable and how long it takes for the packets to travel to the destination and back. When you use the ping command, you can quickly determine if there is a network connection between your computer and another device. For example, to ping Google's DNS server, you would type ping 8.8.8.8. In this example, the command sends 4 packets to the IP address 8.8.8.8 and receives replies from it. The results show the round-trip time for each packet and a summary of the statistics, including the number of packets sent, received, and lost. A 0% loss indicates a stable connection to the target IP address. The ping command can be particularly useful in various scenarios. For basic connectivity tests, if a user reports they can't access a website or service, the first step is to ping the server to check if it is reachable. If you get replies, the server is reachable, and the issue might be with something other than network connectivity. For latency measurement, the time it takes for the packets to travel back and forth, measured in milliseconds, helps gauge the latency of the connection. High latency can indicate network congestion or issues with the network path. For packet loss detection, if packets are lost during the ping test, it suggests there might be a problem with the network link or the destination server, indicating potential issues like network congestion, faulty hardware, or misconfiguration. The ping command is a simple yet powerful tool that can quickly give you insights into your network's health. By understanding and using ping, you can efficiently diagnose and troubleshoot network connectivity issues, ensuring smooth and reliable communication within your network. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. TraceRT. The TraceRT command, short for traceroute, is a network diagnostic tool used to track the path that data packets take from your computer to a destination host. It shows each router, or hop, along the way, including the time it takes to reach each router, helping identify where delays or failures occur in the network route. Imagine you're sending a letter through the mail, and you want to know every post office it passes through before reaching its final destination. The TraceRT command does something similar, but for data packets. It sends packets to the destination and records each router, or hop, that forwards the packet along the way. To use the TraceRT command, you simply type TraceRT, followed by the domain name or IP address of the destination you want to trace. For example, to trace the route to google.com, you would type traceRT, google.com and press enter. In this example, the TraceRT command shows the route taken by packets to reach google.com. Each line represents a hop, including the round-trip time in milliseconds for each of 3 probes sent to each hop. The IP address or hostname of each router along the path is also displayed, allowing you to identify where any delays or issues might occur. The TraceRT command is particularly useful in identifying network bottlenecks. If you experience slow network performance, TraceRT can help you pinpoint where the delay is occurring. By analyzing the time taken for each hop, you can identify if a specific router or network segment is causing the slowdown. While the previously learned ping command can tell you if there's a delay, TraceRT can show you exactly where the delay is happening. Additionally, it is invaluable for troubleshooting connection issues. If you cannot reach a particular website or service, TraceRT can help determine where the connection is failing. By seeing the last successful hop, you can identify whether the issue is within your local network, with your ISP, or further along the path. Unlike ping, which just tells you if the destination is reachable, TraceRT provides a step-by-step path to diagnose where the connection stops. Lastly, TraceRT helps in understanding network topology. It provides a visual representation of the path data it takes through the network, helping you understand the topology and relationships between different network segments and routers. By understanding and using TraceRT, you can gain insights into the paths your data takes, identify points of failure or delay, and understand the structure of the networks you interact with. This complements the ping command by providing a more detailed view of the network path and identifying specific points of failure. So, next time you face a network challenge, remember to use TraceRT. It's your tool for mapping the journey of your data. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Path ping. The path ping command is a network utility that combines the functionality of ping and TraceRT to provide detailed information about network latency and packet loss at each hop between a source and destination. This makes path ping a powerful tool for diagnosing network issues, as it offers more comprehensive insights than either ping or TraceRT alone. Imagine you're not only sending a letter through the mail and tracking each post office it passes through, but also checking the time taken and potential delays at each stop. The path ping command does just that for data packets. It first traces the route to the destination, and then pings each hop along the route multiple times, providing statistics that help identify where packet loss and latency occur. To use the path ping command, you type path ping, followed by the domain name or IP address of the destination you want to analyze. For example, to analyze the path to google.com, you would type path ping, google.com and press enter. In this example, path ping first shows the route taken by packets to reach google.com, similar to TraceRT. It then provides detailed statistics for each hop, including round-trip time and packet loss. This helps pinpoint where delays and packet loss occur along the route, offering more detailed diagnostics than ping or TraceRT alone. The path ping command is particularly useful when investigating unstable or intermittent connections, as path ping helps in understanding network performance over time. By analyzing the path and computing statistics for each hop, path ping provides a comprehensive view of the network's health, which is essential for diagnosing intermittent issues that may not be apparent with a simple ping or trace RT task. The path ping command is a versatile tool for network troubleshooting and performance analysis. By understanding and using path ping, you can gain deep insights into the paths your data takes, identify points of failure or delay, and understand the overall health of the networks you interact with. This complements both ping and trace RT by providing a more detailed and comprehensive view of network performance. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Hostname. The hostname command is a simple yet important tool used to display the hostname of your computer. The hostname is a unique name assigned to a computer on a network, making it easier to identify and communicate with other devices within the network. Imagine you're in a room full of people, and each person has a unique name. These names make it possible to address and communicate with specific individuals directly. Similarly, in a network, each device is given a unique hostname to distinguish it from others. The hostname command helps you check the name of your device. To use the hostname command to display the current hostname, you simply type hostname in the command prompt and press enter. In this example, desktop-1234 is the hostname of the computer. This command quickly tells you the unique name assigned to the device, which is especially useful in network environments where you need to identify or differentiate between multiple devices. This is the same hostname that is provided using the ipconfig command, but wasn't this a heck of a lot easier? Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Netstat. The netstat command, short for network statistics, is a powerful network utility that provides detailed information about network connections, routing tables, and interface statistics. To better understand this command, imagine you're the manager of a super busy office, and you want to see all the phone calls happening at any given moment. The netstat command provides a similar function for your network, giving you a snapshot of all active connections, listening ports, and network interfaces. To use the netstat command, you simply type netstat in the command prompt and press enter. In this example, the netstat command displays all active connections, including the protocol, be it TCP or UDP, local address and port number, foreign address and port number, and the state of each connection. This information helps you understand which connections are established, waiting, or closing. For more detailed statistics, the DASHI option provides interface statistics, which includes information about the number of bytes and packets sent and received. This detailed information helps monitor and analyze network performance and detect issues such as packet loss or errors. Let's consider a real-world scenario. Suppose you're a technician troubleshooting a laptop that's experiencing slow internet speeds. The user reports that everything was working fine until recently, and now the connection is sluggish, even though they're not running any new programs. You suspect that some background services might be using extra bandwidth, causing the slowdown. Luckily, you now know a command that will help you view and monitor active network connections. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. NSLOOKUP. NSLOOKUP is a command line utility used to query DNS, or domain name system servers, and retrieve information about domain names and IP addresses. It is essential for diagnosing DNS-related issues and verifying that DNS records are correctly configured. DNS functions like the Internet's phone book, translating human-friendly domain names like example.com into IP addresses that computers use to communicate. The NSLOOKUP command allows you to interact with DNS servers to resolve domain names, check various types of DNS records, and troubleshoot connectivity issues. It can be used to identify whether problems accessing a website or service are due to DNS misconfigurations or other network issues. Imagine you're an IT technician, and a user reports that they cannot access Google's website. They're getting an error saying the site, google.com, can't be found. This kind of issue might be related to DNS problems. To investigate this, you can turn to a trusted tool called NSLOOKUP. First, let's see how NSLOOKUP can be used to resolve a domain name to an IP address. To To do this, open the command prompt and type nslookup followed by the domain name google.com and press enter. If you do, the output will look something like this. In this example, nslookup contacts the DNS server configured on your computer and requests the IP address for google.com. The response shows the IP address 172.217.5.238, indicating that the DNS resolution is working correctly for this site. Well, assuming the IP address displayed is indeed the address of google.com's web server. The versatility of nslookup makes it an indispensable tool for any IT professional. Whether you're troubleshooting website accessibility, email delivery issues, or verifying DNS record updates, nslookup provides the insights you need to diagnose and resolve DNS-related problems efficiently. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Check disk. Alright, let's jump into yet another system tool, check disk. Check disk is a command line utility used to check the file system of a volume for logical and physical errors. Simply put, it helps identify and fix problems with storage devices, such as bad sectors, lost clusters, and directory errors, which can cause system slowdowns, crashes, and data corruption. By running check disk, a user can potentially recover readable information from bad sectors, ensuring data integrity and improving overall system performance. Additionally, using check disk as part of routine maintenance can prevent disk errors from accumulating, thereby maintaining the reliability and efficiency of the computer. To run a basic check on the C drive, you would type chkdsk, followed by the drive letter, C, then press enter. In this output, the check disk command performs 3 stages: examining the basic file system structure, examining file name linkage, and examining security descriptors. It reports the status and verifies that there are no issues with the file system. If errors or bad sectors were found, they would be listed, and additional parameters would be required to fix them. The check disk command is particularly useful in several scenarios. If a computer is running slowly or experiencing frequent crashes, check disk can identify and fix underlying disk issues causing the problem. When files become corrupt or inaccessible, check disk can help recover the data and repair the file system structures. Regularly running check disk as part of a maintenance schedule can prevent disk errors from accumulating and causing larger issues. By incorporating check disk into routine maintenance, you ensure the health and integrity of your hard drives, leading to improved system performance and reliability. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Net use. The net use command is a command line utility used to connect, remove, and configure shared resources like network drives and printers. The net use command allows users to map network drives and connect to shared resources easily. Think of it as a way to create a shortcut on your computer that directly links to a folder or printer on another computer within your network. This can be particularly useful in office environments where multiple users need to access shared files or printers. By using NetUse, you can set up these connections quickly and efficiently. For example, suppose you want to connect to a shared folder name, project, located on a device name, server1. You can map this shared folder to a drive letter on your local device. Let's say the drive letter Z, by typing netuse //server1/project. Once the command is executed, drive Z will appear in your device, and you can access the contents of the shared folder, named project, as if it were a local drive on your computer. The netuse command is useful in several ways. It simplifies access to shared resources, making it easy for users to find and use files and printers located on other computers within the network. Additionally, it helps in maintaining a consistent work environment by allowing network drives and printers to be reconnected automatically every time a user logs in. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. NetUser. The NetUser command is a command line utility used to manage user accounts on a computer or domain. In simple terms, the NetUser command lets you add, modify, and delete user accounts on your Windows system. Think of it as a tool to help you create new users, change passwords, and configure account settings without needing to navigate through various menus in Windows. This command is particularly useful for system administrators who need to manage multiple user accounts efficiently. Now, a quick note, don't confuse NetUser with NetUse. That would be rather embarrassing. Let's see an example of how the NetUser command works. Suppose you want to create a new user account named John, with the password, CompTIA A. You can do this by opening the command prompt with administrative privileges and typing, NetUser John, CompTIA A. Then you would press enter and execute the command. This command creates a new user account, named John, with the specified password. If you need to change the password for John, you can use a similar command. NetUser John new, password 456. This changes the password for the user account, John, to new password 456. If you want to delete the user account, you can do so with the command NetUser John /delete. Once you execute this command, the user account John will be removed. In summary, the NetUser command is a powerful tool for managing user accounts on Windows systems. By mastering this command, you can streamline user account management, enhance security, and ensure that all users have the appropriate access to resources. Just don't forget, NetUser is for managing user accounts, while NetUse is for managing network connections. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Diskpart. The diskpart command is a command line utility used to manage disk partitions on a computer. To put it another way, the diskpart command lets you create, delete, and modify disk partitions. Think of it as a powerful tool that helps you organize and manage your computer storage. With diskpart, you can resize partitions, assign drive letters, and format volumes, among other tasks. This command is especially useful for system administrators and advanced users who need to perform complex disk management operations. Now this may be a bit beyond the scope of the CompTIA A+ Core 2 exam, but I think it would be fun to dive into an example to see how diskpart works. Suppose you want to create a new disk partition on a hard drive or volume. Here's how you can do it. Step 1. Open the command prompt with administrative privileges and start by typing the command diskpart. Step 2. Once diskpart is running, you will want to list all the disks to identify the one you want to work with. This is accomplished by typing list disk. Step 3. Select the disk where you want to create the new partition. Suppose it's disk 1. Then you would type select disk 1. Step 4. Create a new primary partition. To do this, type create partition primary. Step 5. List the partitions to confirm your new partition has been created. This requires the command list partition. Step 6. Format the new partition to prepare it for use. The new partition needs a file system. To format a file system, use the command format fs equals ntfs quick, and the partition will be given an ntfs file system. Step 7. Assign a drive letter to the new partition. I think we will use the letter T in this example. Therefore the command here will be assign letter equals T. Now, the new partition is ready to use and will appear with the drive letter T. The diskpart command is invaluable for managing disk partitions. It provides detailed control for setting up new disks, resizing partitions, and preparing drives for various operating systems. In capable hands, it is also useful for troubleshooting storage issues, optimizing disk usage, and managing complex disk configurations. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Format. The format command, while it has a few functional overlaps with the previously discussed diskpart command, serves a more focused purpose. While diskpart primarily manages disk-related tasks like creating, deleting, and resizing partitions, the format command is designed for erasing data and setting up a new file system on a disk. More specifically, the format command can wipe a disk clean and set it up so that it can store files. Think of it like clearing and organizing a new storage area. Before you can use the area to store items efficiently, you need to remove any old clutter and set it up properly. The format command does this for your disks by erasing existing data and creating a file system structure that your computer can use to read and write files to. If you want to wipe and set up a USB drive, making it ready to store new files, you can use the format command. Imagine you have a USB drive labeled as drive E, and you want to format it using the NTFS file system. Here's what you do. Open the command prompt and type this command, format E://fs:/NTFS. Once you run this command and follow the prompts, the USB drive will be wiped clean and set up with the NTFS file system. Just remember, formatting will erase any data currently on the drive. In summary, while DiskPart provides comprehensive disk management capabilities, format is the go-to command for the specific task of preparing disks by erasing data and setting up a new file system. This makes it particularly useful for repurposing disks, installing new operating systems, and changing file systems, ensuring your storage is clean and ready for use. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Copy. The copy command is a basic command line utility that lets you duplicate files and put them in another location. Think of the copy command like making a photocopy of a paper document. You keep the original in one drawer and place the copy in another drawer. This command is handy when you want to back up your important files, move data to a different spot, or simply make an extra copy for safety. And unlike that office photocopier, this command won't jam on you. Here's how you use it. Let's say you have a file called report.txt in your Documents folder, and you want to copy it to a USB drive labeled E. You would type this command, copy, followed by the source location, which is C:\users\your username\documents\report.txt. This is followed by the destination, E:\. Once executed, a copy of report.txt will appear on your USB drive. Quick and easy, right? Keep in mind, the copy command isn't just for local files. You can also use it to copy files to and from other network locations. Using the copy command is great for a few reasons. It makes backing up files easy, so you have a spare in case something happens to the original. It helps you keep things organized by moving files to different places without losing the original. Plus, if you need to copy a bunch of files at once, it gets the job done quickly. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Xcopy. The Xcopy command is a command line utility used to copy files and directories, including subdirectories and their contents, from one location to another. Think of Xcopy as the more powerful upgrade to the copy command. While copy is great for duplicating single files or groups of files, Xcopy can handle entire directories and their contents, making it ideal for more complex file management tasks. For example, if you need to copy an entire folder with all its subfolders and files, Xcopy is the tool for the job. Let's say you have a folder called Projects in your Documents folder, and you want to copy it, along with all its subfolders and files, to a folder, also named Projects, on a USB drive labeled E. You would use the following command, xcopy, followed by the source location, which is C:\users\your username\documents\projects. This is followed by the destination, E:\projects. Now this is where Xcopy gets a bit more complicated. Since the Xcopy command is so versatile, we also have to be a bit more specific with our commands to ensure they behave as needed. As such, we will be using the /E option, which tells Xcopy to copy all subdirectories inside the projects folder, including empty ones. Next, the /I option will tell Xcopy to assume the destination provided in the command is a directory, in the event it is not certain. Once executed, a copy of the projects folder, along with all of its contents, will appear on your USB drive. Keep in mind, the Xcopy command isn't just for local files. You can also use it to copy files to and from other network locations. The Xcopy command offers significant advantages over the copy command. It can copy entire directories along with their subdirectories and files, while the copy command is limited to single files. Xcopy also also handles complex directory structures and includes various options for selective copying, which can skip specified files as needed. In summary, while the copy command is great for duplicating individual files, xcopy is more powerful for copying entire folders and their contents. Exam Objective 1.2 Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Robocopy. The Robocopy command, short for Robust File Copy, is a command line utility used for copying files and directories with a more robust set of features than the copy or xcopy commands. First, it can resume interrupted transfers, picking up where it left off once the connection is restored. This makes it perfect for transferring a large number of files over unreliable connections. Second, it handles dynamic data efficiently, ensuring the destination is always synchronized with the source. Great for environments where files are frequently added or deleted. Third, it can mirror entire directories, making it perfect for backup solutions where an exact copy of the source directory is needed. Think of Robocopy as the superhero of file copying, designed to handle complex tasks with ease. Suppose you want to copy a directory, called Projects, from your local computer to a network share, named Projects, located on a device, named Server 1. You want to ensure that the copy can resume if interrupted, and that it mirrors the source directory. You would use the following command. Robocopy, followed by the source location, which is /users, /your username, /documents, /projects. This is followed by the destination, //server1, /projects. As for options, we will be using the /mir option, which tells Robocopy to mirror the source directory to the destination, including all subdirectories and files, as well as delete files in the destination that no longer exist in the source. Next, the /z option will tell Robocopy to copy the files in restartable mode, which means it can resume the copying process if interrupted. Once you press enter, the process will begin. The copy process will also be accompanied by a detailed output of events. In summary, Robocopy is the superhero of file copying utilities, offering advanced features that outshine copy and xcopy. It's perfect for transferring a large number of files over unreliable connections, as it can resume interrupted processes. Additionally, it excels in dynamic environments, providing the ability to mirror data accurately for backup purposes. So, next time you need to handle complex file transfers, call on Robocopy, the superhero your files deserve. Exam Objective 1.2 Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. GP Update. The GP Update command is a command line utility used to refresh group policy settings on the computer. Now, you may remember discussing group policy briefly when we covered Windows 10 features. Or maybe you already forgot. Regardless, I will give you a little refresher. In simple terms, group policies are a way for network administrators to control the working environment of user accounts and computer accounts. Group policy settings dictate various configurations, such as security settings, installed applications, and user interface options. When these settings are updated, the changes do not take effect immediately. That is where the GP Update command comes in. This command forces the computer to apply the latest group policy settings right away, without waiting for the next automatic refresh. Suppose an administrator has made changes to the group policy settings on a domain, such as enforcing a new password policy. To apply these new settings immediately on a computer, you would use the GP Update command. More specifically, this is accomplished by opening the command prompt and typing GP Update /force and pressing enter. This command tells the computer to immediately refresh and apply all the group policy settings, ensuring that any changes made by the administrator are enforced right away. The GP Update command is a handy tool for refreshing group policy settings on a computer, ensuring that any changes made by network administrators are applied immediately. This command is essential for quickly enforcing new policies and configurations without waiting for the next scheduled refresh or system restart. By using GP Update, you can ensure that all group policy changes take effect right away, maintaining a secure and well-configured computing environment. Exam Objective 1.2 Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. GP result. The GP result command is a command line utility used to display the resultant set of policy, or RSOP information for a user or computer. Plainly put, GP result helps you see which group policy settings are applied to a user or computer. Group policy is a tool used by network administrators to manage and configure operating systems, applications, and user settings. For example, an administrator might use group policy to enforce password complexity rules, deploy software, or set specific desktop backgrounds across all computers in an organization. Understanding which policies are applied is crucial for a few reasons. First, it helps troubleshoot issues. If a user is experiencing problems, such as not being able to access certain resources or applications behaving unexpectedly, knowing the exact policies applied can provide insight into whether the problem is configuration related. Second, it helps verify that configurations are correctly enforced. Administrators need to ensure that the policies they set are actually being applied to the intended users and computers. If policies are not being enforced as expected, it could lead to security vulnerabilities or inconsistent user experiences. The GP result command provides a detailed report showing all the policies that are in effect for a specific user or computer. This report includes information about the policies applied, the source of the policies, and any filters that might affect policy application. Having this comprehensive overview helps administrators maintain control over their network environment and ensures that all configurations align with organizational policies. Suppose you want to generate a report to see which group policy settings are applied to the current user and computer. Simply open the command prompt and type gp result /r. The /R option stands for report, and when you use it, GP result generates a summary report that is displayed directly in the command prompt window. This report includes detailed information about the group policy settings that are currently applied to both the user and the computer. It shows the policies in effect, the source of these policies, and any filtering that might impact their application. The GP result command is a useful tool for displaying the resultant set of policy, or RSOP information for a user or computer. It provides a detailed report that helps in troubleshooting issues or verifying that policies are correctly enforced. By using GP result, you can quickly see which policies are in effect, making it easier to manage and configure network settings efficiently. This command is essential for IT professionals who need to ensure that group policy settings are applied as intended. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. SFC. The SFC command, short for System File Checker, is a command line utility used to scan and repair protected system files on a Windows computer. The command helps you ensure that your important system files are intact and not corrupted. Think of it as a health check for your computer's vital files. When you run the SFC command, it scans your system files for any issues. If it finds any corrupted or missing files, it can replace them with the correct versions. This is particularly useful when you encounter error messages about missing or corrupted system files. To use the SFC command, you need to open the command prompt with administrative privileges. Then, in the command prompt window, type SFC/scan now and press enter. This command will start the system file checker and begin scanning all protected system files. If any issues are found, SFC will attempt to repair them by replacing the corrupted or missing files with the correct versions. The SFC command is a valuable tool for maintaining the integrity of your system files. By scanning and repairing corrupted or missing files, it helps resolve various issues that can affect the stability and functionality of your computer. However, there are potential problems to be aware of. If there are underlying hardware issues, such as a failing hard drive, the command might not be able to resolve all problems. In such cases, further troubleshooting, such as running the check disk command or possibly replacing faulty hardware, may be necessary. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. WinVer. The WinVer command, short for Windows version, is a simple command designed to display the current version of the Windows operating system installed on your computer. Basically, it helps you find out which version of Windows you're using, including details such as the version number, build number, installation of Windows. Knowing your Windows version is important for troubleshooting issues, ensuring compatibility with software, and following specific instructions for updates or configurations. Suppose you need to check your Windows version, because a new software application requires a specific version of Windows to install. To use the winver command, open the command prompt and type winver and press enter. A window will then pop up displaying the information about your Windows version, including the version number, build number, and edition. Imagine you are trying to install a new application that requires Windows 10 version 20H2 or later. Given the example behind me, do we meet that requirement? If you know the answer, leave a comment. In summary, the winver command is a quick and easy way to check the current version of your Windows operating system. It provides essential information such as the version number, build number, and edition, which can be crucial for troubleshooting, software compatibility, and system updates. By using the winver command, you can ensure that your system meets the necessary requirements for various applications and updates, helping you maintain a smooth and functional computing environment. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Shutdown. The shutdown command is a command line utility used to shut down, restart, or log off a computer. This can be handy for various reasons, such as scheduling a shutdown after a certain period, remotely shutting down a computer on your network, or restarting your machine for updates. It's like setting an alarm clock, but for your computer's power state. Let's say you are finishing up your work for the day and want to give yourself 5 minutes to pack up before the computer shuts down. You can accomplish this by opening the command prompt and typing the command shutdown /s/T300. Once you press enter, a notification will pop up to inform you of the imminent shutdown. Now, to further break down and explain this particular command, the S option tells the computer to shut down. As for the T option, it sets a timer, in seconds, before the shutdown occurs. In this case, 300 seconds, or 5 minutes. The shutdown command is a useful tool for managing your computer's power state through the command prompt. It allows you to schedule shutdowns, restarts, and log-offs, providing flexibility and control over your system's operations. Exam Objective 1.2. Given a scenario, use the appropriate Microsoft command line tool. Command cheat sheets. Navigating the world of command line utilities can feel like learning a new language. With so many commands and options to remember, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But don't worry, even the most seasoned IT professionals sometimes need a little help. Fortunately, Windows has a built-in feature that acts as your personal cheat sheet, making it easier to understand and use these commands effectively. If you ever find yourself stuck or wondering what a particular command does or how to use it, you can type the command name followed by a / and a question mark. For most Windows commands, this will bring up a detailed cheat sheet containing all the information you need. It's like asking Windows to explain the command to you. This feature is incredibly helpful because it provides you with the correct command syntax, a list of all available options and parameters, and detailed usage instructions. This ensures you have everything you need to use each command correctly and effectively. Suppose you're not quite sure how to use the shutdown command or want to know all the possible options it offers. You can open the command prompt and type shutdown / ? And with a single press of the enter key, you will be shown a help menu with all the details about the shutdown command. So next time you come across a command that you're unsure about, remember to use the / option. This handy feature transforms your command line experience into a manageable, user-friendly process, providing you with a comprehensive cheat sheet that details everything you need to know about the command. Whether you're troubleshooting an issue, configuring a new setup, or simply expanding your command line skills, this built-in help ensures you're never lost or overwhelmed. Embrace this special command option, and let it guide you through the complexities of Windows commands with confidence and ease. Exam Objective 1.3. Given a scenario, use features and tools of the Microsoft Windows 10 operating system. Task Manager. Task Manager is a powerful system monitoring tool in Windows 10 that allows users to view and manage running applications. processes, and system performance all in one place. Whether it's checking on performance, closing a non-responsive application, or adjusting startup programs, Task Manager is your go-to tool for maintaining order. First off, accessing Task Manager is a breeze. You can right-click the taskbar and select Task Manager, or use the efficient keyboard shortcut, Control, Shift, and Escape. Of course, the iconic Control-Alt-Delete key combination is also a great way to launch Task Manager. Once you open Task Manager, you'll be greeted with a simple interface showing your currently running applications. Now this is really just a teaser. For more detailed information, click More Details to dive deeper and see what is really happening with your Windows 10 machine. Here you will see a series of tabs displayed at the top of the window. So let's make our way from left to right and do some exploration. The Processes tab is where you'll spend most of your time. It's like a real-time dashboard that displays all running applications and background processes. Each entry shows the app's name and its individual CPU, memory, disk, and network usage. This is incredibly useful for spotting resource hogs that might be slowing down your system. Also, if an application freezes or is unresponsive, you can click on it and hit End Task to force it to close. Next, we have the Performance tab, which provides a graphical overview of your system's performance. Think of it as the heart rate monitor for your computer. Here, you can see real-time graphs of your CPU, memory, disk, and network usage as a whole. This is invaluable for diagnosing performance issues. For instance, if your computer is sluggish, a quick glance here can tell you if your CPU is being maxed out, you are running low on memory, or if your hard drive is nearing its activity threshold. The App History tab tracks the usage of your applications over time. It's like having a report card for each app, showing how much CPU time and network bandwidth they've used. This can be particularly helpful for identifying apps that are resource-intensive over extended periods, allowing you to make informed decisions about which apps to keep or remove. The Startup tab is your ticket to a faster boot time. If you've ever been frustrated by how long it takes your computer to start up, unwanted applications starting on boot are likely the culprits. This tab lists all the programs that start when Windows boots up, with each entry showing its impact on your startup time, categorized as low, medium, or high. Imagine turning on your computer and having to wait forever for it to be ready. In earlier versions of Windows, you would hunt through the MS-config tool to see which programs were starting with the OS. However, with Windows 10, accessing startup applications is much more straightforward. By viewing this list in the Task Manager and disabling unnecessary startup programs, you can significantly reduce your boot time, making your system ready to go in a flash. It's like clearing out the clutter from your morning routine to get a fresh start. Moving on, we have the Users tab. This provides a snapshot of all users currently logged into the system. For each user, you can see their resource usage. This is particularly useful in multi-user environments or when troubleshooting performance issues that might be tied to a specific user's activities. The Details tab is best reserved for advanced system users. It provides a granular view of all running processes, similar to the old Task Manager in previous Windows versions. Here, you can see detailed information like process IDs or PIDs. A process ID is a unique number assigned by the operating system to each running process. It acts like an identifier, allowing you to manage and troubleshoot processes individually. For example, if a particular process is causing issues, you can use its process ID to locate and terminate it precisely. This tab is a goldmine for more complex troubleshooting and advanced system management. Lastly, the Services tab lists a variety of Windows services along with their current status. It also allows you to start, stop, or restart them. Services are background processes essential for various system functions. Managing them through Task Manager gives you a centralized place to control these vital components